What's up, my YouTube family? Welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and today I want to share a build with you that's probably my favorite one to use in the game. Now, the main reason I wanted to highlight this today is due to the fact that in a lot of my news videos or farming videos, I'm using a specific build, and it's actually the build you're seeing on screen right now. And this morning I did a typical, Monday news video, and in the comment section, I once again received a lot of messages asking me to give you a specific breakdown on the build itself because it just absolutely shreds heroic content. It's so much fun to use. Now, one thing I want to make sure I mention is that this is a build I have highlighted at the channel at least twice before. I think the last time I did it was around Christmas last year. However, because of all the questions, I wanted to once again show you one of my favorites. Now, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well. And remember, we are currently having a giveaway for a PlayStation 5. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe here or follow on Twitter, and the winner will be announced on October 2nd of this year. So once again, my friends, to be perfectly clear, there is nothing new about this build whatsoever. I mean, this goes back to when Hunter's Fury and Scorpio first came out. This is something I've been running with for a while because for me, it's without a doubt one of my favorite run and gun builds, and we're going to jump into it right away. But as always, I want to start off by mentioning the fact that this is just a template. This is my favorite way to run with this build. However, there are so many different ways to put together, a shotgun SMG run and gun build. The most important thing is to truly take your time and make a build your own. So starting off as always with the specialization, I'm using Gunner for a bunch of different reasons. I like the extra armor on kill, I like the riot foam grenades, and remember, regardless of which specialization you choose, always have the proper weapons activated in your weapon skill tree. That way you're getting a 15% weapon damage bonus regardless of which weapon you have equipped. My primary weapon for this build is the Scorpio shotgun. It is still without a doubt one of my favorite weapons to use in the game, especially with a build like this. The thing is just an absolute monster because of its talent Septic Shock. Now, if you do not have this weapon as yet, remember you can farm for this anywhere the shotgun is the targeted loot, and obviously using the summit or countdown is very efficient because you can choose the shotgun as your targeted loot anytime you want. And once again, I want to remind new and returning players, if you happen to use random matchmaking to join a group, do not leave at the end of the mission or control point or whatever it may be that you're doing, because there are so many times that players want to share gear, and if you're not there when they drop it, you're going to miss out on something you could be looking for. My secondary weapon for this build is a Vector SMG with the talent Close and Personal, where killing a target within 7 meters grants 30% weapon damage for 10 seconds. And with a build like this, you're typically very close to NPCs, so if you do switch to this, that talent is running pretty much non-stop. Now moving on to the gear itself, you can see I'm running 4 Hunter's Fury, 1 Badger Tough, and the MEMENTO backpack. And as I said, this is nothing new. This goes back to title update forever ago when Hunter's Fury came out. Now, what makes this gear set so popular are the gear set bonuses you're going to have when you have all 4 pieces equipped. So you can see a 2-piece bonus gives you 15% shotgun and SMG damage, 3 pieces 20% armor on kill and 100% health on kill, and 4 pieces Apex Predator, where enemies within 15 meters receive a debuff, amplifying your weapon damage against them by 20%. Killing a debuffed enemy with your weapon disorients other enemies within 5 meters and amplifies weapon damage by 5% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Moving on to the body armor, it's the 1 piece of Badger Tough I have equipped, so I get that extra shotgun damage bonus. Now, to be clear, if you'd rather run with your primary as the SMG, you could easily switch to Sokolov. Now, with this, I'm using the talent Intimidate. Now, they did make a change to it with Title Update 15. And for those of you that may not remember, before they made the adjustment to this talent, anytime you had bonus armor, you would get a 35% weapon damage bonus to enemies within 10 meters. But since they made the change, you can still get that 35% weapon damage bonus, but it stacks over a period of 7 seconds. So every second that you have bonus armor, you're going to get an extra 5% weapon damage. And in my opinion, even though it is a little different, it still is really, really effective. Moving on to the holster, the knee pads, and the gloves, they are the 3 remaining pieces of the Hunter's Fury gear set. Now, what I'm doing on every piece in this build is I'm trying to stack crit hit chance and crit hit damage. That's really all I'm focused on. And you can see with the holster, I've changed my core attribute to armor because I wanted a little more survivability with this build. I'm sitting at 1.3 million, and for me, that's a really good baseline for a build like this. Finally, the crown jewel of this build is the MEMENTO backpack. And once again, just like the Scorpio shotgun, it is in the general loot pool, you can farm for it anywhere the backpack is the targeted loot. Now, the reason this bag is so incredibly effective is because of its talent kill confirmed, because every single time you take out an NPC, they're going to drop a trophy, and when you pick up those trophies, you get a short-term and a long-term buff. Now, one thing I've talked about recently in a lot of my run and gun build videos is that trophies are only going to drop if you are the one who kills an NPC. I get a lot of messages from people, let's say they're just jumping into Countdown, and remember, people, it's a group of 8 and people play pretty aggressively, so if you're not the one doing the actual taking out of the NPCs, you're not going to see a trophy drop. As far as my skills are concerned with this build, I'm using 2 of my favorites, the Crusader Shield in case things get sideways in this game, and the Assault Drone because it is a great distraction to NPC and puts out damage as well. Now, as we make our way to the stats, you can see I'm sitting at 32% crit hit chance and 126.9 crit hit damage, and that can be balanced out. I mean, I could balance it to 44% crit hit chance and 102% crit hit damage. Again, I wanted to show you exactly what I use. For me, it works, but again, try out different variations. Now, one of the things I really like about this build is the armor on kill aspect, therefore the survivability with this build. You know, every single time you take out an NPC, you're getting 30% of your armor returned to you, which is absolutely fantastic. And when you actually add the stacks you're going to be getting with the Memento backpack, you're going to have a ton of bonus armor and still be putting out a ton of damage as well. Now, one of the things I strongly recommend, especially to new and returning players who are trying out a build, is I suggest you go to a mission control point, something that you're familiar with. That way you know the timing of the NPC and you can see how the build really responds to your gameplay. And at that point, at least in my opinion, that's when you can make a determination of what tweaks you want to make. Are you good at 1.3 million armor? Do you need 1.5? Do you just want 1 million armor? Do you need more weapon damage? Whatever it is. So again, my friends, as I've said, take your time and really make a build your own. The other thing you should always make sure you do is try out a build playing solo and in a group, because remember, when you're with more people, there's enemy scaling, so the NPCs are going to hit harder and they're going to be able to take more damage. Now, the reason I enjoy this build is, for me, it's kind of like set it and forget it, where I know that this is a good balance for solo or group play. And again, I sincerely hope you enjoy it, my friends. Like I said at the beginning, it is by far one of my favorites. Most of you know by now that one of my favorite aspects about putting these build videos together is the family that we have here at the channel. So as always, if you have any feedback, any tips or tricks you want to pass along to new and returning players, please let me know in the section down below, as the main goal is to help out as many people as we can. On that note, I'm going to let the rest of the video play out. However, as always, I do want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible support of this channel, and remind you, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well, but most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.
Got a visual on additional hostiles in the memorial compound. They're moving south. There's a gate between you. It looks closed from here.
Agent, you'll need to find a way to open that gate.